Moai. Everyone knows the heads on Easter Island, but they are not just heads. These statues have bodies buried underground, some covered in carvings that have never been decoded to this day. The Rapa Nui carved over 900 of these, using nothing but stone tools. Each one weighs around 14 tons on average. Some reach 80 tons. They moved them across a volcanic island, without wheels, without animals, and without any explanation that everyone agrees on. Some researchers believe the statues were moved upright using ropes. Others disagree. Nobody actually knows. What we do know is this: an isolated population spent centuries moving giant stone figures across extreme terrain, and then one day, suddenly stopped. Mont'e Prama giants. In 1974, a farmer in Sardinia hit something hard while plowing his field. Not a rock. A 2,500-year-old stone warrior, shattered into pieces. Archaeologists kept digging and found dozens more. These are the Mont'e Prama giants, the oldest large-scale stone statues in the Mediterranean. Some stand over 2 meters tall, with massive circular eyes that look almost robotic, as if someone designed them in 800 BC. Without knowing what robots were, the civilization that made them left no written records. Just giant, broken stone warriors, buried in a field with no explanation. Bulls of Guisando, 4 stone bull statues, sitting in a field in Spain for over 2,000 years. Nobody really knows who carved them, or what for. Most likely pre-Roman tribes. As territorial markers or religious symbols. They are large, rough, and feel surprisingly intimidating for something made with ancient tools. But here's the strange part. In 1468, Isabel of Castile, who would become one of the most powerful rulers in European history, was crowned queen right next to these things. A few stone animal statues shaped like wild boars accidentally witnessed one of the most important political moments on the continent. Shigir Idol. This thing is 12,500 years old, the oldest known wooden sculpture on Earth. Pulled from a peat bog in Russia in 1894. It stands nearly 5 meters tall and is covered in geometric patterns and carved faces, whose meaning has never been decoded. The people who made it lived at the end of the last ice age, thousands of years before agriculture, before writing, before any civilization we normally call ancient. Somehow, they had the skill and the reason to carve something this complex, and then it disappeared into a swamp for 12 millennia. Chachapoya Statues. The Chachapoya were called the warriors of the clouds. They built their civilization in cloud forests above the Amazon, in terrain most people would consider uninhabitable. Their statues are carved directly into cliff faces, at heights that should have been impossible to reach without modern equipment. Tall, thin, covered in geometric designs. The Inca eventually conquered the Chachapoya, but even they struggled to control its people. The statues still stand among the clouds, watching over the forest that swallowed most of the civilization that carved them. Ain Ghazal. In 1983, construction workers in Jordan found something in the ground. Researchers excavated over 30 plaster statues buried in 2 separate pits, the oldest dating back 9,000 years. Large painted eyes, some with 2 heads. These are among the oldest human statues ever found anywhere on Earth, and they came from a settlement that housed thousands of people at a time when cities were not supposed to exist yet. Nobody knows whether the 2-headed figures were symbolic, artistic, or something else entirely. Nemrut. King Antiochus of Commagene had one request for his tomb. He wanted giant stone heads of himself and the gods placed on top of a mountain at 2,000 meters elevation. And that is exactly what happened. The heads at Nemrut stand nearly 9 meters tall and have been slowly falling off their pedestals for 2,000 years. Nobody has moved them back. They just lie there, toppled, staring sideways at the surrounding mountains. The tomb beneath has never been found. Dogu. The Jomon people of Japan created small clay figures between 14,000 and 300 BC. Large, goggle-shaped eyes, strange body proportions, carvings that look uncomfortably futuristic. Some researchers believe they were used in healing rituals, deliberately broken to transfer illness away from a person. Others see them as early robot aesthetics. What they actually were remains completely unknown, which is impressive for something that has been studied for over a century. Tiki of Nuku Hiva, hidden in the dense jungle of the Marquesas Islands in French Polynesia. The Tiki of Nuku Hiva are large stone figures with wide eyes and carved mouths. They were believed to be physical entry points for gods and spirits, places where the divine could step into the real world. Some stand nearly 3 meters tall. Others are still being found buried beneath centuries of dense jungle. The forest keeps producing more of them. If you want to support me making videos like this, click the join button and become an uncivil professor today, or click the video on screen right now.